Magic 8 Ball. Will they pass the algebra on Regents? It says you may rely on it. Let's go. Let's go. What is the game plan today, ladies and gentlemen? Let's do this. Here is the final lesson on functions. In mathematics in the algebra Regents, you must be good at graphing these functions with the calculator. Say hello to your best friend, the calculator. How are you graded? How accurate the graph is. The points must be precise. You must show and label at least 3 of the points. And you must label the graph with the appropriate name. So the goal for today is to be a boss at graphing with these functions and knowing what they look like. Do you remember our dance battle? Do you remember our dance battle? Review. Pause the video and let me see if you can. Hold on, let me change the music. Music vibes are good now. Pause the video and try yourself. How do you graph these functions? What do they look like? All right. Let's say you pause the video, right? And now you want to see. This is a quadratic function. How do you read it? X squared or x to the 2. How do you read it? X to the 3 or x cubed, right? So we say this is a cubic function. Right? You say x cubed, x squared. Right. This is square root of x. Absolute value of x. Check this box if you know how to plug it into the calculator. Grab your calculator. What's the first thing you should do to the calculator? Reset it. How do you reset the calculator? Second. Plus 7, 1, 2, poof, your RAM is cleared. Okay? If you need to rewind it and see it again, you can do that. So we go to y equals, let's plug in x squared. What do? I type in x, I hit my square button over here, and notice that I am here, right? And I hit what? I hit graph. Remember, we're in y equals, right? So I hit graph. And then voila, you have some, what do we call this? A parabola. Right? Let's look at the other one. Let's hit y equals. Let's clear. I type in x. Oh no, if I hit this, I only get a 2. Where can I go to put in a 3 for my exponent? I hit the caret button over here. And notice I could put in any number I want right now. I put in 3, I hit graph, and voila, you have x cubed. Even though the calculator did this, practice drawing it like this. You start at the center or the vertex, and then I go like that. All right. Square root of x. How do I plug it in? I go to y equals. Let's put the calculator over here. Where do I go? Let me zoom out a little bit. I hit second x squared. So that gives me the square root. I plug in x. I hit graph. And then voila, this is my graph of square root x. Here is the tricky one. Let's hit y equals. Let's see who remembered how to do this one. You hit math. You want to go to num, so you go 1 to the right. And you see how it says ABS open? You hit enter, and then you get the little palitos. Over here you get the lines, and now I could put X. And what does the graph look like? It looks like some very wide V, right? And don't forget the arrows. All right. So remember, we call these parent functions, right? These are the mommies and the daddies. These are the OGs on the blocks for all your functions. You have x squared, x cubed, square root x, absolute value x. Let's continue, right? This is just review. Okay, so here, let's look at the next part. What did we do, right? So if we have some x squared, right? What does x squared look like? If I hit y equals, if I type in x squared, what does x squared look like? It looks like some parabola like this, right? Well, what do we want to do with the x squared? We want to take this x squared and move it up 5. We want to make it go down 5, left 5, right 5. Pause the video. Let me see if you remember. How can you move this graph up, down, left, and right by 5, right? And every time you write something, check on the calculator yourself. Okay, let's say you pause the video and you want to see. This is x squared plus 5. X squared minus 5. Parentheses, x plus 5 squared. Parentheses, x minus 5 squared. Okay? This will move this up, down, left, and right. Let's try one. Let's try this one for the left 5. If you want, you could put the original function here and notice that it's in blue. You could even go down, and then let's type in this one over here, parentheses, x plus 5. Oh no, there's a commercial. It's killing the vibe. Let me change that. Okay, now we're good. So parentheses, x plus 5, close, squared. Oh, no, squared. And then I hit graph. Notice the blue is the original and the red is the new one, and it moved the graph left 5. All right. So something that's very interesting, notice that if you have this plus 5 and this minus 5, it's on the outside. You see, the outside is controlling what? The up and the down. So notice that if I wanted to go up 5, all I need to do was plus. And notice it's on the outside. If I wanted to go down, all I had to do was minus. And this should feel good, right? Because when you think of plus, you think of up. When you think of minus, you think down. But it gets a little bit awkward over here, because if you think left, you kind of think minus, right? Don't you think minus when you think left, and when you see right, you think plus? But here, it's the opposite. So if I want to go left, the plus has to be on the inside, and the minus has to be on the outside. I'm sorry, minus has to be on the inside for right. Okay? And you should be able to put all of these functions in to the calculator to make sure you could see the graph go up, down, left, and right. Now the question is, can I do it with these functions as well? Can you make each of these functions move up, down, left, and right? You got this, right? Try for each one. And notice it's very similar to the x squared, right? See what you got. See what you got. Pause the video, right? Here, pause the video. And for each parent function, move it up, down, left, and right. All right, let's see if you came back. This should be x cubed plus 5. X cubed minus 5. Parentheses x plus 5 cubed. Parentheses x minus 5 cubed. It has the same pattern. The outside controls up and down. The inside controls left and right. Square root of x plus 5. Square root of x minus 5. And notice this is outside the radical. Square root of x plus 5. Square root of x minus 5. absolute value x plus 5, absolute value x minus 5, absolute value x plus 5. And notice that it's in the inside. Absolute value x minus 5. You have to be very comfortable plugging each of these into the calculator. Make sure you feel good plugging these functions in before moving to the next part. All right, let's continue the positive vibes. And let's continue. Here, what is the game plan? We talked about in the beginning of the video that we want to be a boss when it comes to graphing functions. So here, for all these functions, how do I graph them, right? How do I graph them? So the first thing we want to do is let's identify the parent function, try to graph it without the calculator, describe the transformation, and sketch the function, and label and state the new vertex. So let's take a look at the first example just to see what we're talking about. So here for part A, it says identify the parent function, right? So which one of these parent functions, right, are we talking about? Quadratic, cubic, square root, absolute value? Which one of these are we talking about when we see this function over here? Right? Pause the video and try this by yourself. Pause the video, try it by yourself. Let's see. And if you could do it without the calculator, that's a huge win. So let's take a look. The original function is x squared, which is quadratic. Right? How do you know? Because you have this square over here. So what does the graph look like? It looks something like this. This is the parent function. Okay. Let me fix up the music again. Okie dokie. Now let's take a look at the transformation. Here, if I have plus 3 on the inside, minus 2 on the outside, what does this mean? What does this mean? This means 3 to the left, 2 down. Because the inside controls left and right, the outside controls up and down. So you see how this is the original point of 0, 0? Right, that's my original vertex. What's going to happen to this point, and we could zoom in a little bit, I'm going to go 3 to the left, 2 down. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Bam, and that's my new point. And all I'm going to do is show this over here like that. Okay. Then here, what am I going to do? For part C, I'm going to sketch that function. And what should this vertex be? It should be -3, -2. This is my new vertex, -3, -2. Okay. And that's it. That's it. What you could do is, can I plug it into the calculator? Let's see. I hit y equals. I type in x squared, which is my original function, right? This is the original. Then if I go below, I type this in, and remember, you're only typing this part in, parentheses, x plus 3, close, squared, minus 2, graph. And what happened to the graph? It went 3 to the left, down 2, right? And that's exactly what we did here. 3 to the left, down 2. All right. Practice, 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 practice. Practice this one on your own. Can you graph these on your own and see what they look like? Look at the next page. Same idea. Can you graph these on your own and see what they look like? And my hint is, be careful if there's a negative. Okay? And then when you take a look, the next page has some very, very, very good questions. Okay? Try and go through this, okay? Try and go through this. What I'll do is, I'll go through the answers, but I want you to first pause the video and try it by yourself, okay? If you have questions, just raise your hand. Holy moly, Mr. G, that was completely wrong. This is it. Because there's a negative symbol here, this, you see, x squared will look like this. But what does negative x squared look like? It looks like that. Right? So it's going to reflect. And remember, you can practice plugging it in. If x squared is my original, I could type in negative parentheses x plus 1 squared minus 3. That's what it'll look like. All right. Here, try some of these questions. I think they're very, very, very good. Can you create a cubic function of h of x such that the transformation goes 3 to the right and 2 down? Try these questions, okay? And then here, try these questions. And then look here, try these questions. And look here, holy moly, a regions question. This is worth 4 points. Let me see what you got. Let me see what you got. State all the coordinates of its solutions. Good job today, everybody.